What happens when one of the most iconic action stars in Hollywood decides that bulk alone does not define masculinity, but instead chooses health, authenticity, and depth over muscles? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's recent 60-pound weight loss for the Smashing Machine isn't just movie prep. It's a shockwave through Hollywood. Because the man who built an empire on giant biceps and eyebrow raises is basically saying, maybe masculinity isn't about size. Maybe it's about truth. For decades, The Rock was the poster child for toughness. Big, bulky, untouchable. The kind of guy who looked like he could bench press a car for fun. And now he's leaner, more vulnerable, and maybe teaching us a bigger lesson than any of his action movies ever did. This story isn't just about The Rock. It's about us, how we define strength, handle pressure, and why sometimes the bravest thing you can do is shrink. Recently, The Rock showed up to Venice looking nothing like his old self, and the internet lost it. Some fans loved it. Some hated it. Some didn't even recognize him. One side joked, finally off steroids. Another side said, this is the healthiest and best he's ever looked. Overnight, his body became a referendum on masculinity. That reaction shows our conflicted relationship with strength. We admire the muscle-bound hero, but we also long for something more human, more sustainable, a strength that isn't a movie prop, but a way to live. By dropping 60 pounds, the ultimate action hero didn't just change himself. He forced us to ask, is strength about size or about health, longevity, and authenticity? Psychologists call this a schema shift, when something forces us to redraw the mental picture we've always had. For decades, bulk equaled power. With one appearance, The Rock cracked that open. Sometimes, culture doesn't change with a speech or a movement. Sometimes, it changes because someone shows up looking different. In 2024, Johnson revealed he was battling serious digestive health issues. Not just the occasional stomach problem, this forced him to completely rethink food, training, and strength. Instead of pounding 5,000-calorie diets and endless protein shakes, he rebuilt from the inside out. In his own words, he said, use data, not noise. He worked with doctors, changed his nutrition, and listened to his body over Hollywood hype. For decades, masculinity was sold as look at me muscles. But what The Rock did flips that script. Real power isn't about pushing until you break. It's about balance, responsibility, and self-care. If the man who built his brand on bulk can admit, I had to change for my health, what excuse do the rest of us have? True strength evolves. It's not spectacle. It's authenticity. By embracing this leaner form, The Rock isn't just prepping for a role, he's breaking free from decades of typecasting. For years, he was the muscle-bound hero who smashed through walls, raised an eyebrow, and saved the day. But now, he's playing characters like Mark Kerr, someone who is messy, vulnerable, and human. Characters who cry, doubt themselves, and wrestle with demons bigger than any blockbuster villain. Culturally, this matters. Emotional vulnerability in men, once labeled weakness, is slowly being recognized as growth. It takes courage to say, I'm struggling. That's not less masculine, it's evolution. When fans saw the transformation, they were divided, shocked, inspired, confused. The debate revealed our split view of strength. We still admire the oversized hero, but we also crave something more real. And then came Venice. At the Smashing Machine premiere, The Rock received a 15-minute standing ovation. That moment wasn't about muscles, it was about emotion. Authentic vulnerability resonates. When someone as iconic as The Rock opens up, it doesn't just move him forward, it moves all of us. So why does this even matter? For Hollywood, it's a reset. The days when male heroes had to look like tanks are fading. Emotion and authenticity now carry just as much weight on screen. For audiences, it's a mirror. The Rock's honesty about health and his leaner look make space for a masculinity built on wisdom, balance, and emotional honesty. A kind of strength we can live with, and maybe live longer with, because in the end, The Rock didn't just lose 60 pounds. He lost the old definition of what a hero needs to be. Redefining strength means embracing change. And sometimes, it only takes one person brave enough to show us that real heroes don't just grow bigger, they grow deeper. So let me ask you this. When you think about real strength in your own life, do you picture muscles or do you picture health, balance, and the courage to be vulnerable? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear where you stand. See you in the next one.